Welcome back. I'm working on the scarf, the new scarf I mentioned that I want to work on with the new yarn. I think I said actually that it's yarn from Uruguay. The company is from Uruguay. This is Malabrigo Yarn, which is a family-owned company in Uruguay. And a lot of their yarns, they do source from local farms. But they do get some of their yarn from neighboring countries, like this one is from Peru. But it's really, really beautiful merino wool. It's superwash also, which makes it easy to wash because it has that coating on it. I think the superwash is like, it preserves it, but I'm not such an expert on wool. I'm still learning. But I'm making a scarf similar to the one that I was making earlier, which that one's not done. My friend is getting some more yarn for that, so that's on pause. And in the meantime, I would like to make a similar scarf for myself. And wow, is it soft. And I love this color. It's sort of this burnt, sort of purpley, has a little bit like a sort of autumnal orangey tints in it, brownish, purplish. It's this beautiful, beautiful, I can't get over what this sort of, it's a mixture of many colors, you can see. So that's what I'm working on today. I have not progressed on the tapestry since you last saw it. I still don't know if I have enough yarn to finish that row. I don't think I do. I think I'm going to have to undo that row and start over with the new dark blue. And that's okay. It's a pretty easy row. It's pretty relaxing to do. That's okay. I went on a walk today around the local lake, and I could see the remaining autumnal leaves still stubbornly holding onto the trees. On my walk, I saw all sorts of treasures and fantastic things, such as really big acorns. I don't know, maybe I've not been paying enough attention, but I feel like these acorns are particularly large. I saw one that caught my eye, and I was like, that looks like it's double the size of a normal acorn. But then I saw more and more acorns like that. Something about the acorns this year, they're really big. Squirrels must be having a feast. Or, well, preparing for their winter feast. I'm sure there's all sorts of treasure troves underground in preparation for the colder weather that's coming. But it's funny, when the wind picks up, a lot of the acorns fall, and it sounds a little bit like rain, a pitter-patter of the acorns all falling on the ground that's covered by leaves, except that it's a little bit higher stakes, because if you get hit by one of them, it hurts a little bit more than if you get hit by a raindrop. Sometimes when a squirrel is up there eating acorns, it almost feels like they're throwing down the shells. You'll see one munching up there, and they're pelting down whatever they don't want. It's pretty funny. Must be a squirrel out there with a personal vendetta against. Maybe I've just come across squirrels with personal vendettas against me. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. It might just be me. I don't know why they would have such a antagonistic approach to me. I've done nothing to. I have no quarrel with them, unless maybe they don't like geese, and I'm a big goose advocate. People don't like geese, in my experience. People are surprised by how much I love geese. I love them because I think they're just kind of silly. People are afraid of geese or think they're mean. I don't know, they're just like birds. They can hiss at you, but like how much more can they do, right? Like if you go close enough to a goose, like they'll stand their ground until you're about within like 1 foot of them, and then they sort of do like this sort of passive-aggressive grunting and hissing while moving away from you because you're like 10 times their size. There's no way. Yeah, and they have teeth if they manage to get a hold of you, like they can bite you, but come on, like you could just pick one up. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe it's a lot more difficult to fight a goose than I'm thinking. But to me, it seems kind of silly. Like the level of confidence and the level of aggression that they display is comical relative to their size. So it just seems kind of funny to me. So most of the geese are gone, all the geese, they've all migrated south. But there was one goose on the lake. It was just a lone goose, and I knew something was wrong because if they're usually the geese first of all stick together. So if you see one goose, there's more geese around, and they stick together like big families. So if you see just one goose, something is up, and if you see just one goose in mid-November, something's gone wrong. He's missed the last flight home, and sure enough, as I got closer, I could see that one of its wings was broken, which was pretty sad. I just sat there watching it, eating grass, thinking about how cold it would be in the winter, and I don't know how to take care of a goose, not that I want to take care of a goose, but I don't know that there's people who would try to, help it through the winter. Like, there's so many geese and people see them as a nuisance. I don't think people are gonna put in an effort to help this goose. I did try calling the local nature center, but they didn't pick up. I doubt anyone's gonna help this goose, but just felt bad for it. I hope it can find a way to stay warm as the cold approaches. Now, there's another bird over there that they are not particularly bothered by the cold. Some of them do migrate, but they don't migrate like to super warm locations. Mallard ducks. Mallard ducks are here year-round. Some of the mallards we get now are actually not the mallards from the summer, but they're mallards that migrated, from way north, let's say from Canada, like northern Canada. They fly south and then stay here in the United States, where it can still get really cold, but it's not too bad for them. And I saw some mallards like swimming up the lake, and I kind of followed them along my path to see where they were going. And they kept being like more and more, like breaking off. They would be like 2 here, 3 there. Like I counted 16 at one point in various discrete groups, like all like 3 here, 2 there. And they were all heading in the same direction. And I turned around the corner, came between a couple of trees, and oh my goodness, there was a massive gathering of mallards. Must have been at least 50 of them, all hanging out, preening their feathers, chasing each other around. The mallards, like the male ones, those are the ones that are like bright green. They love to chase each other around. It's not mating season now, not that I know of, but they still get into little scraps, which is fun to watch them chase each other and flap their wings and honk at each other. It's really funny. And a lot of them are just sitting there sort of drowsy and sleeping, or some are preening their feathers. Some will like occasionally stand up and like flap their wings a whole bunch and make a commotion. It's really, really funny, really fun to watch. And there was a little kid there with his parents, and he was like, "Look at all the ducks." And I said, "Yes, look at all the ducks. They're so good." That was excellent. It was so much fun to just, I don't know. I love the ducks. I love the geese. I love the birds. Ooh, the birds. There was a red-tailed hawk that flew right over my head. Like, I don't mean right over my head like, where a bird flies like 20, 30 feet up, where you can like see it pretty clearly and you're like, whoa, that's a cool bird. I mean, it was so close I felt like I could touch it, which means it was probably 10 feet above my head, because when something's really exciting, our brain exaggerates it. So I'm guessing it was like 10 feet above me. I could see every feather. I could see every feather of its belly, how white it was with little speckled dots, and it looked so soft. I could hold it. It was so beautiful. And then it roosted on is that the right word? It roosted? It landed, it perched. It perched on a nearby branch and looked around for a bit, and then it flew off, presumably to find some dinner snacks. That got my heart rate going. I was really, really excited. And a photographer came the opposite way, and he said he'd been taking photos of that red-tailed hawk further up the path. A couple other things I saw. I saw some algae, sort of like by the shallows of the lake near where it meets the ground. There's all sorts of like sort of still water growth, like algae, and we don't have any lily pads, but the algae, I gotta say, it looks kind of tasty. Like, I know I shouldn't be eating algae, and don't worry, I'm not, but Like if I was a duck, maybe this is where this is all going. I just want to be a duck, or I want to be a goose, and I want to just nibble on some algae as an afternoon snack. It looks kind of tasty. I don't know what to say. Just kind of green and floating around, and it's really cool to see the algae, the way, like each one's a discrete little thing. They look like little balls, I guess, little green balls, but then they move with the ripple of the water being rippled by the movement of all the mallards, which kept moving all about. So they were sending ripples back and forth, and the little algae would just like sort of move as like a big wave, like almost like a flock of birds in the sky. One other thing of interest was a leaf I saw on the ground. Most of the leaves around here are maple or oak. That's the majority of the ground cover. But there was a leaf that was like almost 3 times the size of my hand. It was like from here down to there. Massive, massive leaf. I was enthralled by it, and I picked it up and I inspected it. Had no idea what it was. And after a bit of Googling, it looks like it's a type of magnolia leaf called the big leaf magnolia. You can look it up. It has these huge leaves that grow up to, I think, 2 feet long. But I did not know we had those trees around here. I'm not very knowledgeable in anything to do with like any flora. I know a little bit about birds. I'm starting to learn, but I don't know any trees or like plants and flowers. I don't know a lot. So yeah, but the best way to learn is just to be curious, to see a cool leaf and be like, oh, what's this leaf? I guess it's the big leaf magnolia, of course. But then when someone else picks up a big leaf next time I'm on a walk, and they'll be like, whoa, look at this cool leaf. I could be like, yeah, that's the big leaf magnolia, don't you know? And then they'll think, whoa, this guy knows his plants. Little do they know it's the one leaf I learned. More to come though. Just gotta stay curious. Gotta stay open-minded. Interact with the world around you. All right, I'm gonna call it here. Oh my gosh, I forgot to even tell you. I got some tea today, not coffee. It's not early enough in the morning for me to drink coffee. This is a nice autumnal tea. It's, I think like the default name for it would be like cinnamon apple spice. So it's got cinnamon, it's got apples, and it's got all sorts of spices. It is scrumptious. But yeah, gonna call it there. Stay curious, stay crafty. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.